Okay, welcome to another edition of Moonhawk Studios Presents, and I am your host, Mac Paladin, and hopefully we won't suddenly lose power in the middle of all of this. I have made some errors, and we will be talking about this extensively on the show at some point. God, nothing ever works out right. Of course, we do have our usual crew of suspects here, led by Adam. Anytime he wants to speak.
Hmm?
Oh, we're on the air.
We're on the
10 out
air.
of 10.
Oh, sorry.
Hi, Adam.
We just introduced you. Yeah.
Thought we had a bit more time there. Step away and do something.
No, I'll be doing the impassioned plea at the end of our introductions and the news segments. Go ahead and
Okay.
say hello, everybody. So our usual suspects, Adam.
Yeah, hello.
We got Kevin in the house.
Greetings from Georgia. Hi, how y'all doing?
Petty fans around the corner.
Oh God, who are you people?
The Golix is here,
Yes, I am here.
and of course we have Kira, aka Varias,
Hello.
who's playing Overwatch and not paying attention to the podcast.
Did I not just respond when you said my name?
You did, but I know you're gonna be like for like a few minutes here until you end this match. Got to get in as much playtime as possible before we get shut down.
Well, I'm trying to eventually hit gold. Jesus.
Tiffy's running around like a maniac over here. All right, so that's our usual crew of suspects. Allegedly, we have a great show for you tonight, and I'm going to try to get us through it without too much disaster. But first, let's get with the news. Adam, what's cooking?
I have to go down to my bank tomorrow because they lost my new debit card.
Ooh.
They lost it?
Wait, they lost it?
Or rather, the mail, if you want to be technical.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Oh, boy. It got lost in transit.
Yeah. I'm like, not activated or anything, but it's been over a month, and, you know, it hasn't shown up. Or I could concede it might have been tossed out because it comes in a plain white envelope, and that is the kind of thing that might get tossed out. But long story short is I don't have my my new bank card, and my old one is on the precipice of getting deactivated. So that's a thing I have to do tomorrow.
Yeah, that's you kind of need that.
Oh, so that's my news for the week.
So going about as well as mine.
Believe me, this is the easier option because I called them up today, and they were like, "Okay, if you do this over the phone, we're deactivating it right now without a temporary debit card." I'm like,
Geniuses.
so yeah. I'm like, so I would have had to go down to the bank anyway. Like, so thankfully I didn't do that, and I'm still with a active ATM card, and I'll get it sorted out tomorrow. But it's more of a pain than anything else.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, next victim.
All right, let's
Which would be me.
let's stroll over to Kevin.
Yeah. Well, I forgot to mention this last week, but we're gonna be going to a Braves game next month, and it'll be during a time I would usually be on this program. So on the night of April 27th, I will not be here. I will be at Truist Park watching the Braves play the Cubs.
Fun.
Yes. And I'm gonna have to be, and I'll be sitting behind the Cubs dugout and having to sit down while everyone goes up and does a war chant. So that's gonna be fun. It is what it is. But yeah, well, other than that, and My usual job doing greeter at AMC, and I'm doing that again this weekend. That's all from me.
Okay. Patty Fan, you're up.
Yeah, hi, I exist. I decided, this last week to get a, Stream Deck for Fragments, and it has been extremely useful.
Oh, yeah?
So yeah, that's been fun, and then just various life things. Like, outside of getting the Stream Deck and a, tooth pulled, not a whole lot's been going on for me this week.
All right.
So I guess next victim.
Golix.
Nothing too special around here. Looking forward to the new Kirby game that comes out on Friday. Have to get a small amount of car work done because one of my headlights is out. And it's one that, in order to fix it, you need to, quote, at least loosen and nudge aside the battery. Which I don't particularly feel like fucking or messing with.
Oh, we passed 5 minutes, so you're okay now.
Sorry.
This is the inside joke of our studio, is that there can't be any major cursing for the first 5 minutes of the video, otherwise it negatively affects monetization. Markiplier jokes about this all the time on YouTube, so I guess it's not entirely out of line.
I know
to
the
bring it
Game
up,
Grumps actively enforce it, but
right?
it's a lot easier to do. It's a lot easier to do that when you have post editing.
Don't they have like a timer, like on the screen too, for like when it passes? Or is that a fever dream?
I don't think
Not
so.
usually.
Not that I've seen.
I have the Twitch page up, and there's a clock on the Twitch page that says how long you're streaming. So.
Well, yeah, that's how long. But it doesn't have like a countdown for swearing. That would be overt.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know how you know how these streaming services are. They don't want to have anything be like out in the open or transparent or anything.
Right.
God forbid. Oh, goodness gracious. So yeah, other than that, we've got our usual streams and whatnot. All right, so Brias, what have you got cooking?
So as we went through earlier today, we had to try and run some errands. One of the things that I needed to do was I needed to go and do some blood work. Unfortunately, we did not make it there before the lab closed. So yeah, and what was probably meant to be about a half-hour trip turned into 2 hours. 30 minutes in relative places and an hour and a half on the road.
Yeah. Worthy of understanding is that Tucson traffic during the daytime is abysmal. Not necessarily because there's a lot of it, but because the infrastructure in Tucson is so bad that nobody can get anywhere with any alacrity. You trailed off. Did you finish what you had?
Sorry, no, just I was going to say one other thing, because you started talking about the traffic there. I get real anxious at times being in the car. Like, I don't like being out and about. It's like, hurry up, do the thing, and go home. So I was getting really antsy. But yeah, so we made it back home, and I had dinner, and I'm happy now. That's it for me.
Yeah, and I mean, it was like the whole time we were out, it was like...
One eternity later.
Now, of course, I have a soundboard, so not everybody on the show actually heard that, but unless you were listening to the podcast in the background, but I hit the one eternity later button. We were just out there forever, and nothing was working out. We went to get the blood work. The lab was closed. We went to a couple of electronics stores to find some parts. They were either closed or no longer do that thing. The computer store that I worked for almost 14 years is now shutting down because the owner is retiring and his kids don't want to take over.
Oh boy.
Yeah. The one place I've been employed the longest is going to soon no longer exist. Probably within the next 30 days.
There you go.
What else is happening? Then we went
I
to
don't know.
then we went to the discount grocer to get cat food, and all they had were these relatively tiny bags of premium stuff. The 16-pound
boy.
bag of Friskies was not available. You know, so we struck out basically across the board here. And then it still took us like 25 more minutes to get back, even though we were only 2 miles away from the house. This is what I used to try to tell my boss. He's always like, "Well, why are you always so late?" And he's like, "You're only 4 miles away." And I'm like, "Have you ever tried going northbound on Oracle during anything that vaguely resembles rush hour?"
Uh-huh.
I said, "Even if I left an hour in advance, I'd probably still be 15 minutes late." He's like, "Well, why would it take you an hour to traverse 4 miles?" And I said,
Because it's frickin' city.
"Yeah." I'm like, "Rich, you've lived in Tucson at least a decade longer than I have. How do you not know this? Do you just like teleport around the place?"
Well, now that you know.
Yeah, I mean, I was always late before. It's an ADHD thing. Perception of time is just not a thing. You get me going on something, and we'll be in a vortex for the next 5 hours. But you know, speaking of, let's talk about Star Trek fandom or not. You know, that's a good way to get me to fill dead air. But it's just been bad. You know, I first thing was first. I was basically trying to get ahead of my insurance payments, and I have commercial insurance because I do rideshare with the various services, and I was making pretty good money doing this. But then remember that ADHD thing I mentioned? And we've talked about this for years. I've never been medically diagnosed, but it's very likely that I'm somewhere on the spectrum as well. And all of the hallmarks of those disorders are true. Anxiety causes depression and paralysis. I start doing what my friend from San Diego refers to as pyramid thinking, which is immediately going to the worst case scenario in every situation, which also causes paralysis. I start running scenarios in my head, and so it's like, if I just worked XYZ, I'd make at least 150 tonight, and then it's just like curl up in a ball. And that's where I've been for weeks now, is trying to get out and work to rectify my problem, but not being able to work because my anxiety is ratcheted through the roof. And it's like the whole streaming thing is nice, but it's a slow boat. It's not something if you're trying to get to be like Chadwick on Facebook or Markiplier or something like that. I got some oceanfront property on the east side of my city that you might be interested in.
Yeah. To add some scope to that, like for me, I get maybe $100 every 4 months right now.
Yeah, so we're doing our damnedest to try to make this into something, but it's a hard road, and you really got to hawk a lot of stuff, and you really got to be like, oh my god, on social media and so on and so forth to kind of fill that in. And if you're not constantly producing, then you have no way of knowing if you're going to make it or not. It's one of these horrific circle things to where if you it takes forever to make money off of this, if at all, but you never know if you're going to be able to unless you do it constantly. The rise and fall of many a great streamer, I'm sure. All I can tell you is this: we got great content, and we've actually seen a pretty substantial uptick since the show has come back. But once again, that's a slow burn before it becomes a conflagration. And so we're doing our best here, but I got to work a lot in order to get by. And of course I work at night because, as I said, driving during the daytime, I've run into two problems driving during the daytime. Number one, the app does not function in Tucson between the hours of 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. It will not connect to the service. I get bars of service, and I clearly have internet, but Lyft and Uber will not connect. I go to pick somebody up, and I slide the bar, and it just sits there and swirls for 10 or 15 minutes. It's like the network in Tucson is overloaded. So I can't even make up time during the day because it's just non-functional. So yeah, it's a pretty ugly situation, but we're trying to work around it. Now, on a more positive note, we are making some headway on animation and whatnot. So there's that. I've started streaming on Trovo. Specifically, I've moved the Mobile Mayhem programming over to there because that seems to be their niche, if you will. So I have 2 shows a week there, Tuesday at 9 and Friday at 9, and there is no set end time. It could be an hour, 2 hours, whatever. I like to get it an hour minimum because that's you get Trovo points and bonuses for doing that. But otherwise, all of our exclusive content here at Twitch is safe. You don't have to worry about anything else moving off of here. And I am archiving my Trovo shows here because they do not do long-term storage even if you highlight. Yeah. It's kind of like some other services that will remain nameless. That are no longer in business. Yeah. So that's pretty much it. That's it for the news. If you guys want to help out with the emergency electricity fund, you can send a direct donation through the tip jar below the stream. That is my direct PayPal. If you're interested in helping us out and keeping us functional, because like I said, this is part of mine and Varias's livelihood, and we live in the same house, so if my power gets shut off, hers gets shut off too. So
Indeed.
So any help that can be granted, postmaster at starshipmoonhawk.com is the direct payment link. And again, if you just click on the money jar, the tip jar down below, you can also get there. You can send it through Coffee. I have a Coffee link. Some people call it Ko-Fi. It is Coffee. Yeah. So what a great lead-in. What a great lead-in for our guest to have to sit through.
So wait, it is pronounced coffee? Like, that's confirmed?
I'm sure of it, yeah. Because
Okay,
you're buying people a coffee.
Buy me a coffee.
Yeah, everybody I've seen that has had a thing from that website has called it coffee, so...
I shall continue to say it wrong on purpose.
Well, I feel bad now.
Well, you know what? You can think about it while you're staring at GIFs of Jupiter.
I say GIF half the time too.
Maybe we can all look at the moon. We can all look at Jupiter's moon, Ganymede, while we're chasing Guy Raffs on the Serengeti.
Nice tribute.
Wow. Now that was a lot.
So wait, did you call it a GIF too?
Yes, I did.
Is that what it is?
He played both sides of that argument.
I will die on the hill, but yeah, that's what it actually is. But I will die on the hill.
Developers of GIF called it GIF, but other people call it GIF.
Oh dear.
Having a complete mental breakdown. I need to think about this. Oh god, my entire world has just been flipped upside down.
The guy who created it at CompuServe, they made a joke about it, and as you know, all technology is based on inside jokes. When using a scanner, you will use your Twain support. It is an acronym that literally means technology without an interesting name. Small computer systems interface are referred to as SCSI because the performance is high, but the reliability is kind of scuzzy. And so on and so forth.
That's not even getting into recursive acronyms.
Right, and of course the entire .com boom, which all of the companies were named about, were basically nerd inside jokes. Literally every company name, including Microsoft. is kind of an inside joke. I do not have the information on why it was named as such, but they intended to be the biggest software company in the world and called themselves Microsoft. You know, I mean, all of it, in some way, shape, or form, is either a personal reference or some kind of inside joke to a nerd somewhere in Silicon Valley. And so now we have to explain it since we're having an existential crisis. By the way, I'd like to introduce our guest, B. Hyland. She is an actor, voice actor, podcaster, performer, and model. Hello.
Yep.
But let's do this. Let's get it out of the way because it's actually pretty quick. So at CompuServe Labs, when they were developing the graphical interchange format, GIF, the inside joke at CompuServe was that everybody says that something like they were constantly making GIF jokes about the peanut butter.
Mm-hmm.
Discerning minds choose GIF, or something stupid like that. Whatever the slogan was.
Choosy moms choose GIF.
Choosy moms choose GIF. Thank you very much. Yes. That's whatever the slogans were that involved the peanut butter's name. They made it in reference to their graphical format. So even though G stands for graphical, they still made this joke, and therefore it stuck, and that is why it is called what it is called. And people like to argue all sorts of stuff about, the English language, and the hard J, and the hard G, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
The English language has no rules, only suggestions.
Right. And, of course, the rules of language are also... They support weird different things, as far, if there's an I after the G, then it should be this, and so on and so forth. It's all irrelevant. It's an inside joke. That's the story. That's it. It's an inside joke, and that's why it's called GIF. Not because it's technically correct, the best kind of correct. But
Learned something today.
Yep.
Well, then your day was not wasted.
Exactly.
No, it was definitely not wasted. I have more knowledge.
Indeed. So as I said, our guest tonight is B. Hyland, actor, voice actor. I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do it all.
There's a lot.
Indeed. Why don't you go ahead and formally introduce yourself? Tell us who you are and what you're up to.
Absolutely. Okay. As you said, my name is B. Hyland, professional disaster.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm just going to be honest. I'm a mess. All right.
Reporting back from emergency services.
Right.
Yep. That was a lot of fun. Really enjoyed that. It was a great time for all. A real vacation. Anyway. I'm an actor, model, cosplayer, and podcaster. I do a little bit of writing on the side as well. I can't decide on one thing, basically, is what I'm saying.
So attention deficit creator disorder, just like me.
Absolutely. 110%. I'm on medication for it.
I used to be. Let's flip this upside down. Normally we talk about the big things first. Let's flip this upside down and save the best for last. You mentioned you're a podcaster, and you said you wanted to plug your podcast. Mm-hmm. So tell us about your podcast and what that's all about.
I do. So first one to mention is the show that I run with my husband. It's called Deep Lore. The podcast that is neither deep nor about lore. We basically just watch shows and go episode by episode, break it down, talk about what we liked, what we didn't like, and then we forget what we were talking about and just make jokes at each other the entire time.
Oh.
That sounds like my kind of show.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun. It's a fun show. Right now we're covering Avatar The Last Airbender. Because that's a show that's really important to both of us. My other podcast is called Is This Podcast a JoJo Reference? Spoiler alert, it is. And it's just a show about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, which is one of my favorite shows, one of my favorite manga. Obsessed, an absolute dork. And the one I'm the most excited to talk about is my show. It's called No Time to Binge. Basically, me and a group of my friends, we watch the first episode of something and the last episode, nothing in between. And we just kind of make up whatever we think happened in between. It's a lot of improv, a lot of comedy. That show was actually just nominated for 4 awards, one of them including Podcast of the Year. So we're quite excited about that one. Yeah.
So what would be the roughest thing to do that with? Can you think of anything that beats Neon Genesis Evangelion?
Oh my god. Well, we did, oh god, what was that show? I'm trying to think. Twin Peaks. We did Twin Peaks.
Okay,
I don't know
that's
if you ever
something that
watched
starts
that.
out pretty ordinary.
That show starts out as like a murder mystery, and then it's like a sci-fi horror at the end.
That fits. That tracks.
To this day, I have not taken the time to binge watch it, and I told myself I would. I've still only seen the first and last episode, so I have no idea how it goes from like quirky murder mystery to whatever the fuck that last episode was. I don't know if I want to know. I kind of like it better this way, honestly.
What's great about that was that David Lynch was unwilling to move off of his what was it, 3 or 5 year plan for the story arcs. So when they canceled the series, instead of wrapping up all of the plot lines and everything, he just decided to end it on a cliffhanger. And then when they revived the show, he just picked up 15 years later like nothing in between happened.
God.
Didn't even bother telling the story in between, what happened when we last saw Kyle MacLachlan is staring in the mirror with that sinister face, and now just fuck it, who cares? So by watching the first and last episode, and then if you were to just like pick up with the revival, you'd miss nothing. And everything all at the same time.
Absolutely nothing.
You've missed nothing and everything at the same time. It's like once again the lines are all made up and the points don't matter.
All right. Well, maybe I just won't go back and binge it. Maybe I will just say that I watched all of it, only have watched the first and last episode, and just make up whatever I want to on the fly if somebody wants to talk about it.
And the funny part is my mom. The funny thing is my mom watched this show when it was on the air. I was still in high school, and I was sitting in my room doing homework, listening to it behind me. Still have no clue what was going on. I don't think it would make. I think it actually enhanced my viewing of the show not to watch it, like to just listen to all the craziness in the background. Log lady, that sounds rad. There's a hot chick who can twist a cherry stem with her tongue. Fabulous.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, that was Sherilyn Fenn's kind of thing back in the day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I should watch it.
Yeah. That was like one of the first things that she did when she came on the show. And she was back for the revival. Many people discovered things about themselves after watching that show.
Yeah, I guess so. Damn.
Wait. What show are we talking about again? I just went brain dead.
Twin Peaks.
Twin Peaks.
Okay.
I'm surprised you didn't get it from the context clues. But
because
that's also kind of a thing.
No, right.
You don't have to watch it to know what's going on.
Yeah.
Right. And like talking about like Twin Peaks thing, watchable Hyland Drive if you've not seen it. It's a movie by David Lynch.
Okay.
Or his interpretation of Dune, if you want more Kyle MacLachlan. The 1984 movie is of Trash Heap on fire.
It is an
it's
absolute
something.
fever dream.
What's that?
It is an absolute fever dream.
Yeah.
I rewatched it pretty recently. Because I wanted to go into the movie and I wanted to compare. God.
Somebody is feedbacking hard.
They lit the doobie, shoved it straight up their nose, and then glued it shut.
Yeah, and of course, there's added context because just not too long ago, myself, and my girlfriend went and saw Dune 2022. So yeah, whatever, we went and saw it. So
Is it good? I heard it was good.
it's long.
I can't
long.
say if it's.
Okay.
It's
There's
long and it's
something-
still only the first half of the first book.
Like, hold up. Here's something that Lewis Black said, and I feel like it applies here. He says, I was went on a plane to New Zealand. He said it's 22 hours by plane. He says people tell me New Zealand is beautiful. I wouldn't know. After 22 hours on a plane, any landmass is beautiful.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
same kind of thing applies here. It's like the movie was long. I can't really tell you if it was good or bad. It was just long.
There was a lot of Zendaya staring off into the sun.
Yeah.
Which of course is
I mean, to be fair, the book had a pretty similar vibe.
this is true. I mean,
I like Dune 2000, the sci-fi miniseries. That's my favorite iteration so far.
Interesting.
that just makes me sad because it reminds me that William Hurt just passed away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pardon me.
Okay, well, now that we've gotten off on a thorough tangent,
Right? Let me.
was there any more about your podcast, or shall we move on to your acting career?
Yeah, no, that's pretty much it as far as my podcasts go. Again, just really excited that we got nominated for some stuff. We just wrapped up literally right before doing this, I recorded an episode of that.
Nice.
Next episode out is going to be JoJo Part 2, which is great. So,
Nice.
yeah, if you want to go check that out, you can find that. You can find any of my shows pretty much on any streaming service. You got Pandora, Spotify, whatever. Yeah, that's basically it.
All right.
Just hear me talk about movies and shows and make stuff up on the fly.
So again, kind of like us.
Yeah.
Except we get to talk to the real people who actually make this stuff. So again, speaking of movies, now you are an actor. One of the reasons that we became friends on Facebook was because we had a mutual interest in creating content.
Yes.
I have an animation studio that I've been vainly trying to run for the last 15 years, trying to acquire the tens of thousands of dollars necessary to actually produce respectable quality animation and hire the actors necessary to do that. Since you work in all genres, what are some of the things that you are particularly proud of?
Okay, so I got my start in acting on stage.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of moved on from there, but I'm still very fond of being on stage. That is like my favorite thing to do. I love being in plays and musicals. Shakespeare was like my jam.
Ooh.
Loved it.
I was Richard the
but
Third.
then
No, sorry. 5 curtain calls. We're going to dive into Galaxy Quest any minute now. Anyway.
But then I kind of moved on from there, especially during the global panini when like everything was shut down, plays were not happening, nothing was happening. That's when I kind of like moved on to voice acting, actually. Because it was really easy to record myself in a room. I didn't have to leave. I didn't have to talk to anybody. So it was perfect for that time. Did some audiobooks, did some small projects, a little bit here and there. did a radio drama, actually.
Oh.
That was a lot of fun. That was a horror radio drama. Yeah.
We
And
tried.
from there... Oh, sorry, what?
No, I was just gonna say we tried to do that. As he stares wistfully off into the distance.
Oh God, I'm sorry. Did I bring up like bad memories? Did I traumatize you guys?
You know,
Was it my fault?
there was a novel that became a comic, that became a radio drama, that became a movie that we're still making 7 years later.
Ah. So I brought up some trauma.
Moving on from that, as I
I'm a
continue my
terrible
1,000.
guest.
Let me
Yeah.
just continue. You just talk, and I will continue my 1,000-yard stare.
Okay.
It's all good. It's all good.
But yeah, you know, I worked with this one guy who was a director. He was working on a film, and he just needed some small voiceover pieces. But he actually liked what I was doing, asked me to audition for a role in his film, and I got it. The movie is called The Antisocial Network. It is it's another horror movie. It's about a podcaster, funnily enough, that makes a deal with a demon to become famous. He is like a true crime podcaster. He starts talking about these cases, but they haven't happened yet. But as soon as he starts speaking it into existence, they happen.
Ooh.
Yeah. I got to I played the demon. The director took one look at me and he was like, "Yep, that's a demon, for sure." Yeah, no. It was a character that was like written in a very specific way. But I don't like to follow instructions, so I kind of made it my own thing. And then he was just kind of like, "You know what? Nope, that's it. That's the one." I was off the wall, just batshit insane.
So sometimes it's just serendipity.
Yeah.
We had Corey Johnson on this show 2 shows back, and he was he had a very similar story about just what was the character that he created?
I don't remember the name of the character. I know it was like there was the Rufus and his magical whatever.
There was something about green screens and reacting to dragons.
Yeah, well, no, the second one they was in, he plays the dragon. The first one, which was Rufus the magnificent creature or whatever, he gets to fight the dragon because they made him up to look like Nick Cage.
This sounds very similar. It sounds like a similar experience. I'm detecting some trends amongst my actor friends.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
We're creative, so just let us be creative. Please don't give us instructions because we don't know how to read.
And you can't stop me.
You overloaded your
That's
microphone
basically
there.
the vibe.
Oh my god.
That's the whole vibe. You just go in. I read the script over like a couple times, and then I just kind of decide what I think this character would be like. The director obviously can give me directions, and of course I'm going to try and do what he wants to the best of my ability. But at the end of the day, like, that is my role, and I'm going to make it my own in some way. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And if that involves jumping on desks and threatening to cut people's dicks off, like, that's what I'm going to do.
Well then.
Sometimes you got
as everybody on this podcast crosses their legs. Uncomfortably.
Except me.
You know. Oh my goodness gracious.
Oh boy.
And that's my cat Tippy saying, "No, don't chop it off."
You guys had no idea what you were in for when you invited me. I'm like a fan.
I've been following your Facebook long enough that I think I suspected this is how it might go, but you see, that's what we like. We like
You
variety of
suspect that I
content.
was like unhinged. I'm glad
I plead
that
the fifth on that
that
answer.
shows through.
I plead the fifth on that answer.
No. I am. I'm completely unhinged.
To quote the movie Sergeant Bilko, "It is my understanding, sir, that you are no longer allowed to ask me these questions."
Oh man. But yeah, no, no, that's not it. I forgot to mention something.
Oh.
Yeah, another thing that I do is I'm actually also a character actor. So like think Disney. Like they have the characters walking around and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I play a character at the Renaissance Festival. I play the fairy godmother. Yeah. And I don't know if you know about like what the Michigan Renaissance Festival is. It's a really big festival though. A lot of fun. You get to like hang out with kids, which is, in my opinion, probably not where they should have put me, but it's where I ended up. And that's another one where I get to like make it entirely my own. That's what I like.
Wow.
Oh, I'm also a game show host at a certain casino in Detroit that I'm not allowed to name.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's a lot of fun. I basically get to like go on stage and do this kind of thing. Just chit chat and talk and do trivia and hand out prizes and shit like that.
That's pretty cool though, being able to just do that and chit chat.
There's a lot of chit chatting. There is so much to talk about. Most of it's like talking about the rules and all that boring shit. But like once I get that out of the way, I can just go off. I can be as wild as I want to be. They give no fucks. It's amazing.
All right, let me back up a step here. You mentioned that the majority of your acting credits came because of at least your voiceover work came because of the pandemic.
The global panini, yes.
Yes. So what was that all about? How did you? What were you expecting going into that?
God.
Did anybody set you up for this? Did anybody say this is how it's going to be? That kind of thing.
No, not really. Okay, so I had some actor friends that did voice acting professionally. I have a couple of friends in the industry already. Some people who that is the only thing that they do. They've been in some anime, they've done video games, that sort of thing. So like I kind of got the rundown from them, got some training, all that good shit. I already had the equipment, so it wasn't, I had the equipment from like podcasting, so I just needed to like get some like soundproofing tiles and stuff like that. So I had all of that figured out. I think it was more or less just learning how to advertise myself. Yeah, that was kind of the biggest thing. I was honestly expecting it to be a really competitive community, but it's not. Like I've been acting for years. Nothing was new there, but the voice acting community versus like the movie and stage acting community, completely different. The voice acting community, it's full of some of the warmest, most helpful people in the world. There's no like there's no bitterness if like someone else gets a part that you wanted. You cheer for them and you work together to get something good for you, It's a beautiful community, honestly. Yeah, not something I expected.
There are a couple of
no.
There are a couple of high-tier notable exceptions to that rule.
Okay, yes, there are. There always are. But I mean, just in general.
But some of them have been run out of the business on a rail.
Yes, they have.
Yeah.
Because that's typically not tolerated, and I love that.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's nice, and it's nice how like open and accepting they were. I recently actually came out as non-binary, and nobody questioned it.
Mm.
Nobody at all. It was
Mhm.
great.
Hmm.
It was the easiest thing in the world.
You
At
don't
least as
have
far
any
as, like,
binary?
that
That's so
from-
poggers.
What'd you say?
Sorry, it's just whatever the it's a reference, but it's for someone. It was
Just repeat
mimetic.
what you
Yeah,
said.
oh.
We know it's a
Yeah.
meme.
You don't have any binary? That's so poggers.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
We understood what you were trying to do there.
yeah.
You're
I
good, Bo.
couldn't hear you.
Yeah.
No, for some reason we're getting a little drop on the podcast. So I've been trying to monitor that so that way we don't have these technical issues. Like Pariah's made an entire statement and nobody heard anything.
I don't know.
I've been hearing everything fine over on my end, but
Right, but if the entire sentence was dropped, you wouldn't know.
yeah.
Mm.
Of course, I can hear it, but it might not be sincerely going on the air. That's true. I have seen the stream here because I have it casted to my TV here. Yeah, it's gone off occasionally, but it's not. It's usually back on within seconds.
Right.
It's one of those things.
All right.
Yeah. Anyway.
Now, B, you also said that you are a model. What kind of modeling do you do? And was that one of the first things that you started in the industry, or is that something that evolved later?
Yeah, actually, it was one of the first things that I started doing. So I've been cosplaying since I was like 15, right? And I never thought like that would take me anywhere at all. But when I was around 20, I actually somebody saw my cosplay photos and I was actually scouted. Did some like more commercial stuff for like a few magazines, a few like local ad campaign stuff like that. And I still cosplay, of course. Like that is my jam. I still do that. I won't stop. I'll be 80 dressing up like a Japanese schoolgirl. You cannot stop me. I will not stop.
Not even with the law. You didn't see me shake my fist because this is an audio podcast.
You're gonna have to. Someone will have to like arrest me for the crime of being old and cosplaying in public.
That's illegal in Canada. Wait, that's
honey,
a big
you and me both. You and me both.
Yeah, gonna have to arrest me, officer. But yeah, no. Then I did. I actually had a phase where I was doing a lot of pinup work because honestly, that's where most of the demand was. Like nothing explicit. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Just like some like 50s and styled pinup works. Oh gosh, I just did a photo shoot for. I don't remember what the magazine is anymore. Head empty, no thoughts. But basically, I got to like go out in the forest and be like a weird fantasy creature, and it was super fun and amazing, and I loved every second of it. I like the photo shoots where I get to be completely myself, if you know what I mean.
right.
Like I don't. Because when you're modeling, it's almost like you are putting on a character. Whatever the photographer is looking for, that is the character you have to be. But the ones where they're just kind of like, yeah, no, just be you. I'm like, oh, shit, yeah, okay, let's go. I'll be like rolling in dirt and stuff.
Yes.
Just unhinged.
It's like fierce, more fierce. Now you're a tiger. Now you're sad, and I'm spent.
Yeah. No, seriously, it's almost like acting where you have to, follow what the director wants and change your facial expressions on like a dime. Because if especially for something like commercial, they're not going to spend a lot of time. The shutter speed is going to be flying. So you have to make like your subtle changes like on the fly in seconds. Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing there. Lately, it has been mostly cosplay work. Not gonna lie to you.
It seems to be a big thing
I
right
have
now.
What?
It seems to be a big thing right now.
Yes. Yes.
All right.
If anyone's interested in seeing my cosplays, you can find them on Instagram at bbee.bethy, BETHY. That's my Insta. Give me a follow or just hang out, whatever you want to do. It's there. Yeah.
There you go.
All right, let me give a quick opportunity here. I don't have any more formal questions, but I'm sure we could chit chat for the remainder of the time. But let me give an opportunity. Let me give an opportunity for my co-hosts here to bombard you with any more esoteric details that I might have forgotten. We'll start with Adam. Adam, you got anything?
What was the movie experience like?
Oh, God. Okay, it was very weird because the set was just in some guy's house. Because the scene was just some guy's basement, So at like at like 6 o'clock in the morning, I roll up to this house in the middle of nowhere, and I'm just kind of like, well, I'm gonna die.
Like, I gotta make sure that I gotta make sure that there is no oil drums and holes in the ground.
Basically, it was like, I mean, like, it was farmland as far as the eye could see.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna die here. This is how I am gonna die. This is an elaborate ruse. This is a serial killer's house. But like the dumb white lady that I am, I absolutely walked in anyway. And I'm not dead. I am actually alive. But I'm pretty sure.
Rumors of demons from hell behind the door. Let's check it out.
I mean, the house could have just said serial killer lives here, and I probably would have been like, well.
You're like, at least it's not free candy.
Yeah.
We all gotta go sometime.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like, I already signed a contract, so let's go.
Somebody will figure out where I am. It'll be fine.
Yeah, no. If I die, at least I held true to the contract that I signed.
Yeah. I could say I've truly lived.
Right. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So first thing we did was, makeup, the prosthetics, because I had like little horns and stuff, and I always make the makeup artists, especially when they have like to do like prosthetics and stuff, I always upset them because I am very allergic to latex, and everything is latex.
Right.
So like I always have to bring like my own adhesive. I have to bring everything. I have to bring my own eyelash glue because they never have non-latex glue.
As someone who has done and applied prosthetics, that's always my first question is, are you allergic to latex?
Yep. And this guy, he didn't think to ask at all, like, the month leading up to the shoot, so I actually had to, like, find his information, reach out to him myself, and be like, by the way, when you start making the prosthetics, no latex. And he was like, well, I guess I'm gonna have to figure something out. And I'm like, you got this. I believe in you. You have my trust, man. You're good. And we get there. I get there. God, the whole makeup process was bizarre. He had like forgotten a lot of things, and luckily I am the kind of person who will travel with my whole makeup drawer. So he was just kind of like, oh no, I don't have black lipstick. I'm like, shit, man, I got you. Like, oh no, I don't have eyeliner. Like, got you too. Let's go. You need white face paint? Like, I got that. I don't know why I have it, but I got it. I got everything.
Wow. I used
So
to
he
have
was,
like
a while.
I used to have this massive bag full of makeup similar to that. So it's like if anything is needed, it's in this bag. Let's go.
Exactly. I call it my Mary Poppins bag because it is endless. I can fit so much stuff in there, and it doesn't even look that big. Yeah, no. As far as like the filming process itself, it was, we had reserved the space for 2 days, but me and my scene partner, we actually wrapped up in 1 day. They got everything that they wanted from us in 1 day. So that was really nice.
That's impressive.
Yeah, like he and I, we worked together like a dream. Like we could like, like we were joking with each other like right off the bat. It was good. It was good scene chemistry. That's always a good thing to have because that is not always the case.
Wild.
Much easier to act with somebody who you get along with.
Yeah, that's very important. I've always tried to make the environment, even though nobody who works with us actually sits in the studio and records with us. I've always tried to make our process as easy as possible, and what is amazing to me is how often it still doesn't work out.
Yeah.
Had a couple of personnel changes.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That is unfortunate.
It is what it is.
Our biggest struggle right now is that we keep casting people and then they go SAG. The projects take so long to produce that they get union membership, and then all of a sudden they're in kind of a stuck position. And I'm like, you do realize that in the state of California, a verbal contract is legally binding.
Have you gotten like at least 2 people that got effectively too famous for you to afford, like in the middle of a project?
Yep, that is the
Wow.
thing. That is a thing.
Wow. Okay. Can you say names or like is it someone that I know?
I will talk to you about it after the podcast because now that I've had a chance to get to know you a little bit, there may be some opportunities here.
Ooh. All right. Have your people talk to my people. Let's go.
And by my people, I mean talk to me.
Yeah, basically.
Actually, that brings up an interesting question because I haven't seen you talk about it much. Have you yet worked with an agent?
So for modeling, I did. As far as acting goes, I'm in talks with someone right now, but I can't say much more about that.
Mm-hmm.
And I really want to, but I can't.
Right.
Currently dying of frustration.
Now, go ahead.
I was basically going to say, so basically you're in negotiations and trying to get there.
Correct. That is the stage I am at.
Right.
Now, I wanted to clarify.
I
wanted to clarify for our listeners because I do have 1 or 2 people who are independent producers that sometimes listen to my program.
Okay.
I wanted to clarify, just because somebody is seeking representation does not necessarily mean you cannot speak to them directly.
Exactly.
That's different than being in the union. Being in the union, there are very specific guidelines that you have to do, and it has nothing to do with the agency part of it. It has everything to do with making sure that you yourself are a union shop, that you have a certain minimum pay scale, that you're paying towards the health benefits, and et cetera, et cetera. There's like a 5 to 10 bullet point thing that you have to adhere to hire union actors. Not that stops everybody. And we'll talk about that after the show too. But
for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, so just because somebody is seeking representation doesn't mean that you're not allowed to speak to them directly. The job of the agent is to try to get a better deal, well, first of all, for themselves, but also for the clients that they represent. That's the idea. Give opportunities that studios would otherwise not consider or be reluctant to give to somebody just walking off the street going, "Hi! I'm Mac.
No,
Hire me."
Feel free to reach out to me.
Yeah.
Talk to me. Just say hi. I don't care. I'm bored. We're good.
I'm
We can do this.
platonically pimping you out here. I'm like
Fantastic.
B is
Good.
a working actor. You need to hire them.
Hire me. Or just say hi if you want. That's okay too.
Yeah, they don't bite. They don't bite. Well, no.
I do.
No. I'm dialing it back a scotch there. It's like, yeah, maybe don't do that other thing.
Yeah, well.
Yep. All right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Woo! Way to end it on an awkward note there, Mac. Good job.
Yeah, well.
Look at the time. It is 1/2 a freckle.
Oh,
I think we should all talk about anime now.
Yes.
It's officially 12:04.
Yep.
I mean, that is
man.
handy.
Before we get to that, though, B, I do appreciate you coming out and talking to us. I feel like we got some good material mixed in there, so I hope you felt that we did justice to you, and if not, we'll have you back and rectify that at some later date.
I would absolutely love to be back sometime. You guys are fun.
All right, now stick around for a minute while we try to flip the script and make things less awkward by talking about anime or what other entertainment information that Adam and Kevin have cooked up for us this week.
Yes.
Nailed it.
Now that show's dead. Well, the funny thing is Netflix decided they'd rather have the show die than hire a union staff. I'm not even joking about this.
Wow.
Seriously.
Yeah.
You just hit me in the side of the head with a frying pan. What show are we talking about?
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
Oh, Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
Nailed it. Yeah.
Oh, here, yeah. I'll just throw a Wilhelm scream.
Reality show.
Anyway, in that whole talking about anime category, a very important anniversary happened last Thursday, if I'm remembering correctly, because
Tsunami's 25th anniversary.
Yep. Like,
Oh my god, has it been that long?
a little over
Oh,
now,
God, I'm
but
ancient.
yes, it has been
I'm so old.
Yes, yes,
Oh my
25
god,
years.
tell me in the retirement home.
I was 6.5 when it went on the air, and I'm 31 now. So,
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh god, no, I'm 32. I'm so old. I'm gonna die.
I turned 45 3 weeks ago.
So put that in perspective.
So everybody pack up that old nonsense. And there you get.
Hey, do you want to go casket shopping with me? It helps to be prepared.
They sell caskets at Costco.
Do me seriously?
Yeah, whatever. Right?
Bury me in the fucking Kirkland brand coffin, please. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
With one of their giant bottles of vodka. Because that shit is top tier.
There you go.
I don't.
You get buried in style.
I don't think we set out to create an existential crisis here, but
Hey,
I suppose
no,
that
that's
is a.
personality 24/7. That's what you get with me.
I mean, it is a memento mori, isn't it?
Oh my god.
Oh man.
Right.
Oh, brother.
Welcome to the
Anyway.
chaos, folks.
Oh man. No,
Anyway.
seriously though, I can't believe Toonami is that old. That's
Mhm.
I remember watching that when I was way too young to be watching that.
Yeah.
I mean, define too young because most of the program was ostensibly TVY7. I mean,
I mean,
yeah.
yeah.
TUI7FB, yeah.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. It probably was and is more violent. This is the cut down stuff. 'Cause
Yeah.
remember, this was the block that said Outlaw Star. Yeah, this is a fine program to sell to children. Even though,
They had
Even-
they had that show, what was it? Tenchi.
Tenchi
Muyo.
Muyo, oh boy.
That was full of raunchy moments. Definitely not intended for children.
Oh,
Yeah.
Massive
But I watched
amounts
the
of
shit out of it
badly
anyway.
digipainted on bikinis.
yeah.
Yep.
That's the thing that
And the entire
birthed digital
franchise.
bikinis.
Yeah.
Like, no.
It was the show that sort of defined the ecchi harem comedy genre.
Of course, the funny thing about Tenchi is that Konami was not the first place that aired. It actually aired, if you can believe this, on public television in San Jose, California.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yep.
it aired on KTEH, which used to be San Jose's public television station. That was only San Jose's before it got bought by KQED, which was San Francisco's.
Not the only anime that ever did that. But
Right.
also
But-
Tenchi Muyo had a debut before Toonami in the first movie, showing up on the Sci-Fi Channel.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean that went over about as well as Dominion Tank Police.
Dominion Tank Police showed up there as well. And
I
it was
know. I
mostly-
taped it.
I'm like, it was mostly
I
intact.
put it on VHS.
Yeah. Like,
You know, old people technology.
yes. But yeah, I'm like, Konami is still alive. Or I suppose the more proper term is it died and came back. Like, there was the-
Phoenix.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny they brought it that they brought it back once as an April Fool's joke, and then the public response was so positive that they just okay, maybe we'll actually do that then.
Yeah. Well, what happened was that it was brought back for April Fools after they played the Room for I think it was either 2 or 3 straight years, and then it's like, maybe we should do something different. Okay, let's do this Toonami thing real quick, and the audience reaction was explosive. And then they asked, "Hey, do you want to take the action anime block that we have every Saturday night and make it Toonami?" And it's like, yes.
And gotta admit, Toonami finds itself in a weird position right now because try to guess what the lead show is right now without looking it up.
Something not anime.
Incorrect.
It's anime. It's anime. It's anime.
It's Shenmue.
Oh,
What is
the friggin'
Yeah.
Shenmue
Shenmue.
show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Shenmue the animation is leading the block right now. Like,
Yeah.
That's unique.
I'm like, clearly somebody wanted this to happen because that is the only reason.
Somebody.
Yeah,
And
it's
we
like I know
that
who,
somebody
but
is. Yes, we know who that somebody is.
it's the same person who keeps saying FLCL. Yes, let's do more of that.
Oh god, don't get me started on that shit.
Well, I mean, I kind of have to because they've announced more FLCL. Like,
I know.
See, you're not among the cool kids, Adam, because you're supposed to call it Fooly Cooly.
Yes, Furi Kuri.
well, I have to call it FLCL because we keep adding subtitles to this.
See, I'd be over here correcting him, except for the fact that I have gone completely numb to Adam getting the names of things wrong.
Ouch.
Look,
Rude.
Yeah.
it's more we kept yelling him down.
Well, my favorite part of this is the fact that the reason why it's called FLCL is because of the Americanization of the pronunciation of furikuri.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's
yeah.
called. They write it FLCL sometimes in Japanese too.
I mean,
It's
at
a
least,
nonsense title, basically. It has
But-
feelings, but not an actual meaning.
I mean, at least it's not the porno ending of Excel Saga.
Well, that was made strictly to fuck with Japanese television regulations. It's like-
It was like, oh, well, we're not going to get to show this on TV anyway, so might as well go all out.
Yeah.
They didn't. It wasn't even that much, but it was
I
definitely more than you would have gotten away with.
I have the DVD
Mhm.
collector's box.
Yeah, no, me too. I haven't watched it in a few years, so maybe I'm forgetting something. But
Anyway, as I was saying, we've got Fooly Cooly Grunge and Fooly Cooly Shoegaze
Days.
coming up.
Yes. Yeah. What is the one that we got the preview for? That snippet. I think that was for Grunge.
I think so.
Yeah.
Like that's
see,
the
I don't
one
even think that expanding on Fooly Cooly is bad, but
if
I
they're
don't
gonna
necessarily think they're taking the best approach to it.
Well, I mean, so far, not really. No. Like,
I mean, we had a
guess-
we had a bad sequel, and then we had a it's okay
yeah,
sequel.
great. I guess. What was it? Alternative. That was the decent one, but
Yes.
you know,
It was
these
progressive
things
as an
had
alternative.
no lasting memory. Like nobody talks about
Mm.
them like they do the original.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
mean,
didn't
yeah.
finish the original and immediately think, man, I need more of this.
Well, somebody did.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm
the,
like,
original, the
I'm
original
clearly
certainly
highlighted.
piqued my imagination, and I had some
Yeah.
proto fan fiction bouncing around in my head that I never actually wrote because I have no goddamn executive function. But
Wow.
We're not going to talk about fan fiction here.
good idea.
But yeah, I don't think an organized actual sequel is. And again, they basically it's the continuing adventures of Haruka and whatever the fuck is happening with her this week or this mini series.
I mean, that is how the series have been going so far.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, she's the linking chain here. Like,
Yeah. It's basically the adventures of Haruko and whoever, or Haruka, and whoever male human she happens to come across
Yeah,
at that
whoever
particular
she's
moment,
messing
that
with
particular
this
time.
this period of time.
Yes. Yes.
We
What
won't. We won't talk about my explicit Star Trek fan fictions from when I was 13, which kind of brings up the subject of turning red.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
which subject?
Yeah. Well,
like,
I mean, what everybody's up in arms about it being unrelatable
Ah,
because
yeah.
you know
Uh-huh.
teenage
I'm like-
girls and their fantasies apparently is it's too
Right.
much for
Oh,
certain
yeah,
people.
yeah,
Yes. Too much for a certain section. Yes, of society.
I mean-
anyway.
People who don't know the difference between a pearl clutcher and a pearl catcher.
I'm like, trust me. Like,
Okay. And on that particular note, let's move on.
I'm like, oh boy.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to what we were
Not that
discussing.
there's any physical evidence of these fan fictions that I wrote. You'll just have to take my word for it.
No. There's no.
We will.
Oh, there's
Yeah.
physical evidence of mine, but
Yeah. Anyway, over to
Anyway.
Mystery Science Theater 3000 because the release date has been announced for the first parts of season 13. The first three episodes,
May 6th is what I heard.
May 6th through May 8th. That is when the first 3 episodes of season 13 are coming. And keep in mind, there are going to be some large gaps because season 13 is intended to run through
the holiday season.
yeah,
at the very
up
least.
to
They have the holiday
up to
season.
next year, if I'm remembering correctly, because they don't want to repeat Netflix,
Right. Mm-hmm.
because I believe we have said this in the past, but if there's an unbingeable show, it's MST3K. When
Yeah.
every episode is an hour and a half without commercials.
Yeah.
Like, also worth noting, this is going to be the first season on their new Gizmoplex platform. This is their
Yeah.
custom streaming service, so they could do the show without a network. I'm
Yeah,
like,
this is their first. This is the first like independent MST3K season since all the way back then when they were a little movie showing program in on the C rank independent station in Minneapolis.
yes. And the first movies will be Santo in the Treasure of Dracula, Robot
Mhm.
Wars, and Beyond
Mm.
Atlantis. Like,
Mm.
and then a brand new episode will come out every 2 weeks, including new
Mhm.
episodes and shorts. And they got live stream premieres and special events. Like,
Yeah,
Um,
they're gonna be definitely busy this year.
yes.
They can take care of all of that just simply with shorts, frankly.
Yeah. Also worth noting that this is going to be decidedly more expensive if you didn't back it.
Yeah.
If you want to actually watch this, because the new episodes will be $8 to rent, $10 for live stream, $50 for the 3-month pass, and $135 for the season pass,
Mm.
which is a lot for a season pass.
Just give me
Yeah.
just sell me a goddamn Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Well, I imagine that's going to come down the line.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that
Yeah.
once everything's all set up, that they'll sell the whole thing with the shorts and whatever.
Having the show come to Blu-ray or DVD, that was probably a viability in about 15 years ago. But these days, a Blu-ray if you're lucky.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure that they'll have like discounts or whatever eventually.
Yeah, it's like
I would probably expect that they might do like something for a lower price come Thanksgiving.
Probably,
like they use it because Turkey Day is a religious holiday for the MST3K fandom. So I'm assuming they're going to do something special for Turkey Day, as it were.
Yeah, gotta admit, this is a bit too, it's like outside of like the individual episodes, it's a bit like that season pass is just way too much. You ask me.
It's way too much, probably because of the fact that this is a very,
I know,
this is a big adventure here. This is
I know. This is an independent production that has no corporate sponsorship, no institutional investors. It's all the fans here.
Yep, exactly.
And you're going to get the prices reflected in that. Yep. That being said, it is good to have the show back.
Yeah, exactly. It's still around. It's still kicking. It's still doing new stuff.
Admittedly, I'm a bit concerned, given the amount of time that they've been off air. Hopefully,
honestly, the amount of time is actually probably a good thing because it allows everybody to, step back, take some breaths, take stock.
True.
And if there is like an audience for new material, and go from there.
Yeah, and
I'm not worried about the fact that it's been off for so long because if there's any franchise where time is an illusion, it's this one. How many times has this show died?
It's not that
this show died.
I just want them to slow the fuck down because the MST3K seasons had that problem in spades. Though I don't know if that's even possible in today's age, but I just know that was like everyone had a problem, especially like the first season there with the riffs just going at lightning speed. Nothing was allowed to breathe.
Yeah.
So hopefully that gets tempered because that was a legitimate problem of the new day MST3K
of the Netflix one. Yeah.
I mean, it should be noted that the first episode did already have its debut to the Kickstarter backers back in March. But
Yeah,
that is
couple
already
weeks ago.
long since passed, so
Yeah.
you know, you will have to wait until May if you didn't see it, unless somebody
Mhm.
uploaded it somewhere.
Yeah.
Like, and yeah, I think that's about it for the entertainment file for this week.
All right.
So
Well, that's some good stuff.
yes,
Ooh.
All right. And that brings us to a close on yet another episode of Moonhawk Studios Presents. I think we had a great time here, and we learned a lot. And B, I wanted to thank you for being on the show and being such a good sport about our unorthodox format.
You want to thank me for being?
There we
Sorry, that
go.
was really bad. Anyway, you don't have to pity laugh. It's fine.
Hold on. We'll play the sad violin now. It's playing. You'll hear it on stream.
Yeah.
All right.
But
That's
yeah,
enough.
no,
That's enough of
that
that.
was
That's
a lot
enough
of,
of
this
that.
was a lot of fun, guys. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on. It was a great time.
Hey, before you go, do you want to plug anything that's coming up? Is there a place people should go to find out about your professional life and comings and goings, that kind of thing?
Oh yeah, shit. Shoot. Yeah, no, you can follow me on Twitter. I don't update it as often as I would like, but my Twitter is at Queen Bethy B. And that is B with 2 E's.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said about my Insta, you can also follow my cosplay content. That is b.bethy. What other socials do I have? I have others. God.
It's like, damn it! I didn't know you were going to put me on the spot like that.
I'm sorry. No, I should have been prepared because this is always a part.
You got like 6
Facebook,
post-it
Instagram.
notes on the side of your monitor.
No. Another place you can follow some of my cosplay and modeling content. I go by Honeybee on Facebook. I have a cosplay page there, but it's Facebook, so it's dead, of course. But that's Honey, and then B, just the letter B.
Mhm.
And I think those are like the main places. Those are the biggest places to get a hold of me, mostly Instagram. But I will reply to Twitter.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, folks. That's B Hyland, and we'll be talking to them a little more after the show. But unfortunately, you won't be privy to that. But if anything develops, you will see about it on my Twitter at Micaiah Paladin. So be sure to check that out for any future updates, and also my Facebook page, Michael C. Prokop. Anyway, that's it for this week's episode of Moonhawk Studios Presents, and on behalf of the crew here at MSP, I'm your host, Mac Paladin. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there, kids.